Right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Welcome, everyone. We got audio. If we don't have audio, let us know in the chat. Jack here. We got Chris joining us.
What's up,
We
guys?
got a bunch of cool stuff that we're going to talk about today. What is first on the docket, Chris?
First up, we're gonna spread some some DJI rumors throughout today. So we're gonna start off with the FPV rumor, which is an interesting one for sure. DJI has definitely been dabbling for years in FPV stuff. I'm gonna try to share with you guys, replace my face with some of these pictures here.
Yeah, so if you've been following the channel, you know we love the DJI FPV stuff, their system, and you know this picture we saw from our good old friend OCLV, claiming it to be a you know, an FPV drone. You can see this is dirty, right? So obviously it was crashed. And it's all blurred out, which, you know, maybe that was done intentionally to make us think it's something special, but you know. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Does it even look like an FPV drone to you? I don't know.
Definitely suspicious. Anytime you see plastic, you begs the question whether it's meant to be crashed or not. This looks like it might be. Is this the top or the bottom? It's really hard to tell what's going on here, but I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. It definitely could be. It's not going to be cheap if it is, right? The hobby's got a lot of inexpensive stuff up there. If it's DJI, it's not going to be that cheap, which means, and you tend to crash racing drones a lot. So, right. I don't know. We'll see.
So it's got to be modular. This is another picture of supposedly the same drone. You know, I don't know. You know, at first glance, it looks like you said to me, Chris, it's sitting on its battery. You know, it's kind of angled, which does kind of tell you FPV flight. Maybe, you know, you got that aggressive angle that you got to fly when you're flying FPV. Maybe it's a modular battery. So I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely does look like something we've never seen before.
Yeah,
which is stuff that DJI tends to do.
Yeah, you know, I kind of hope that you know, they don't just put out a 5-inch typical standard race drone, right? Because they're big and they're dangerous and they're loud, and you know, I don't think that's their style, right? So something that's going to be safer and easier to fly and learn to fly, because you know, flying one of these versus flying a Mavic is totally different experience, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, on the non-DJI FPV front, these showed up at my door today. These are the Orca FPV goggles. I'm super excited to test these out. I also recently just acquired a rapid fire module, which is the best. That's hands down. So, you know, standard analog FPV, although there are some rumors that they're working with DJI. And, you know, Chris, I don't know if, I think you've seen it, but you haven't actually experienced this, the new Radio Master TX16. It's the half chrome version. It even says half chrome on it. So that's awesome. So, you know, love the Radio Master remote. You can fly pretty much everything on it. The exception being DJI. You can't fly DJI stuff on any of that, but.
It is nice to have our first personalized product sent to us. That's pretty cool.
I feel like we made it, right?
Yeah, I guess we've made it now.
Somebody sent us a $150 radio with our name on it. It's solid. I'll take it. It's awesome. I'm excited.
What about those goggles? How much do those cost?
So on Banggood, which is where we got them, they're $6.99, which is crazy. I think Get FPV, they're $5.50, but that doesn't count this module, right? So you got to buy your own module, which is, you know, at least $100. If you're gonna you know, spend money on these goggles, you might as well get the rapid fire, which is the best. Then you got to buy antennas, so you're talking another $20 there. You got to have a battery, although you probably have something that'll work. But yeah, and then, you know, one of the things that's nice about this, you can put a module in here, connect to your phone, save videos on your phone, but that's another $80. So, you know, these are expensive, They're
Not
nice.
beginner goggles, yeah.
No. So, I tested them out a little bit today, but I'm looking forward to this weekend where I can I'm going to fire this up and, yeah, the Nazgul, get the Nazgul going and test it out. So we'll see. I'm excited for that.
Very cool. Those are some pricey goggles. So, yeah, I get the sense it's going to be hard to justify that price, but we'll definitely see. You definitely have quite a collection of goggles now.
I do. Got a bunch. Donated a handful to the local drone club here at the high school. So, I'm not hoarding them.
Nice. Yeah, you donated some to me too. All right. Should we go on to the next rumor already? Is it time?
Yeah, let's do it. Looks like we're getting some lag
Uh-oh.
according to the chat. Let me just check something real quick.
Technology. All right, so I'll just keep talking so people can comment on audio quality and motion and things like that, and know that we're not just totally off air here. I'll go ahead and share. Well, maybe I won't yet.
Okay.
Rather make sure people can see me and everything's working right.
Otherwise, it looks like my sources are telling me that things are good. So
okay. All right, we'll proceed.
That's positive.
All right. So let's throw this thing up here. We'll talk a little bit more about this guy than maybe some of the other rumors. You can see it up there, Jack?
Oh, yeah. Mavic Mini 2.
Yeah, so
that's what everyone wants to know, right? So when's it coming? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna look like? How is it gonna be different than the original? You can see
so
that
I've
picture.
poked around the Mini quite a bit. Obviously, we've played with it. We like it. The camera, I mean, for the price, there's just really nothing that really touches it. The camera's excellent, even though it's not 4K. And we would imagine if you're going to do a second version, that would be one of the key features they would add for people that really want that. It's hard to imagine they could add any new features, though, in terms of like hardware, like you're seeing here in this picture, the rear, what looks like rear obstacle avoidance, maybe, without too much of a weight penalty to get over the 250-gram limit, which I'm sure they're going to want to stay under, I would guess at least. That being said, that battery they had in there was a lithium ion. That's something we talked about, Jack, that, what can they do with the Mini? It's so light. Maybe they can get some more flight time and some, a little weight off it, therefore room for maybe another feature. With a battery switch out, the lithium ion battery has a lower energy density by mass than lithium ion. I think they went with the lithium ion because they were cheap and available, more so than the weight saving. So they left themselves some room, maybe. That's my hypothesis. That's my idea. I don't know.
So the idea is they get better batteries. They spend a little bit more money, but maybe they can get something in like obstacle avoidance. Now, do those look like cameras to you? Because, the
white thing in the middle, right?
Well, like those two dots, right? So what's going on there, right? So if we look at the Mini, there's some sort of button, right, on that versus this one. No button here, and obviously we don't have anything. Those look like sensors of some sort, right? So I don't know.
Oh, we've never seen sensors like that. We haven't seen DJI use ultrasonic sensors in quite some time, which leaves infrared, and those just look like shiny little black windows, and that's not what that looks like. And what does that leave behind? Dual cameras, which we don't usually see with maybe that's a reflection, though. Maybe they are using a circle light. Also, could just be there to confuse us and have us talking about nothing. Who knows?
And we don't know that this is even necessarily a real picture, right? So it could very well be someone having fun with Photoshop, and who knows, right? There's
sure.
a lot of misinformation out there. This again comes from the good old Osita LV today talking about this, right? But what if we were to get a Mavic Mini 2, Chris? Is it going to be vastly different than the Mini that we already have? What do you think?
I hope not. I hope they don't give it obstacle avoidance. You and I were talking. I need to do some indoor flying for a project in a couple weeks, and I was talking about how much more I'm interested in flying the Mini, actually than these other drones. I know you can turn off obstacle avoidance. It's just light. It's safe. To some extent, I hate having the sensors there. So I hope they don't add it. Honestly, if it was better and easier to use and less annoying and more effective, I'd say, yeah, sure, put it on there. But it's none of those things from DJI typically. So
Right.
I'd say I hope they don't. But what will they do? Obviously, there's the 4K camera. Can they keep it cool? That seems to have been a challenge for DJI. I think DJI is getting better at video compression. We look at the bit rate out of the Mini. That's one of the things it's not great at, but I see no evidence of it, right? It's like the same as the original Mavic, I think, had a Mavic Pro had a higher bit rate, but you could see artifacts all over the place on that thing. I haven't seen anything with this Mini. So, with this lower bit rates, maybe they're able to keep the sensor cooler or the camera cooler, because that's been the issue with the Mavic 2 Pro. They seem to have resolved that on the Air 2 with these gigantic heatsink as part of that solution.
Right.
I don't know that they have room or weight for any of that on the Mini. So will they get 4K figured out? I don't know. I mean, obviously there's 4K on my little gimbal we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have a fan or any giant fins. So who knows where the challenges are exactly with all these things. But anyway, I'm being long-winded. 4K is the simple answer, and maybe unlock a couple flight modes here and there that were held back on the Mini.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's moderate upgrades, a slightly better camera. You're going to get an extra bonus flight mode feature, yay, and they're going to charge an extra $50. What I would actually love to see is not 4K. I would love to see that this Mavic Mini not have 4K. I'd love to see it just be a 1080 drone that did it well, and they dropped the price, right? I would love to see a mini version of the Mini, right? So less features, and instead of charging $399 or I'd love to see it under $300. $250. Man, would they kill at $250? Man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so I know a lot of our viewers, a lot of people out there, they may have some cash, some of them don't. We're always interested in getting as many people, responsible people, into the hobby as possible.
Right.
Certainly parts of the world, people don't have a spare $400 or let alone $1,000 sitting around. So we'd love to see a really, a drone that someone could get into, record in 1080, which often looks the same as 4K, and just have everybody fooled. Is that guy using a Phantom 4? Is he using a $200 Mini? That would be an awesome thing where you just can't tell anymore. And yeah, so I agree. I don't think that's what they're going to do, right? We don't see that as a pattern from DJI. They'll probably knock, if they come out with a Mini 2, it'll have 4K. They'll knock $50 off the price of the Mini. They'll add $50 to the price of this thing, so it'll be a $450 drone or whatever, and there'll be a $300 original Mavic Mini that'll only be available for like a month, and then it'll be on Amazon for another 6 months or something.
Right. Yep. Agreed. Who is? We'll talk more about these guys in a bit, but MJX is the one making those low price drones that are getting better and better. We've got a new one en route. When's that one supposed? The Bugs 12 electronic image stabilization drone. When's that supposed to show up? Do you know, Chris?
Tomorrow.
So we may have. We did the Bugs 20. We'll talk about the Bugs 12 at the end here. You referenced having a gimbal with 4K. There's another word that DJI is working on, the Osmo Pocket, Pocket 2, I should say. So what What might we expect from the Osmo Pocket 2, Chris?
I don't know. I'll talk more about this in a second, but yeah, here's our attached to a paint pole is our little pocket here.
You're still showing your screen. We can't see you. We're still looking at the Mavic Mini here.
Excuse me.
It happens.
Stop sharing. Okay. You with me there?
Now we got you.
All right, here's my pocket.
Mug.
It's in a $10 holder I got from Amazon. Let me break it out of there. So yeah, what could we do with a 2 on this? I mean, you know, I don't know if you've noticed when you go to 4K on this thing, it talks about maybe a little more compression on the video. It's not the super high quality. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, what we want out of it is a little more battery, maybe easier integration of filters, bigger screen somehow. You know, we were talking that the biggest issue with this, the tiny screen is almost impossible to use. Yep. The bigger screen, which is your phone, is very poorly held on and not really safe to your phone or the connector here, unless you have something like this, which makes, you know, kind of takes away from the whole point of this thing, which is the convenience of having something tiny and that you could, in theory, put in your pocket. So I don't know, Jack, we talked. What else did we say we wanted on this thing?
You know, I would gladly trade a lot of those things and make it 25% larger. You know, better screen. You know, the big rumor is it's basically getting the Mavic Air 2 camera, right? So that 48 megapixel camera, which is cool. You know, it is a very capable camera. But you talked about you know, it not having a mode, right, that you wished it did.
Yeah, so right now I have it in, where do I have it? It's not in follow mode, so it's looking straight ahead. If I tilt it like this, but when I move it left or right, it follows that, which is useful for most situations. But this guy, let me break this guy out. Don't mind the Google announcements happening in my house here. So this guy has another mode I can hit with just a button, and you can see if I twist my wrist, nothing moves at all. And that's a mode that was, you know, there's 4 modes on this, 3 on my Pocket, and that one's not in there. I can't unlock this. And there's some creative things I'm looking to do in a couple weeks for a client, and I would actually like to have that mode. I'm basically trying to simulate a, you know, a boom camera on a boom with a painter's pole for some indoor flying. This customer asked for indoor drone footage during a presentation, so with a speaker and everybody. I'm like, have you ever heard a drone? So I sold them on this, and I got my painter's pole. I can't really show you the whole thing here. This thing gets about 10 feet long. I've got another one that's maybe 12 feet. And I'm going to put that up there, and you can get some really cool stuff with it. But not having that mode is a pain. My alternative, and I also did this, is to put this guy up there on the painter's pole, and that works well also. I get that mode, but the app that comes with this particular gimbal, this is our Smooth Q. It's been around for a while. We actually like this in most ways better than the Osmo products from DJI for the phone, although we haven't tested the last 2 versions.
Right.
You know, what isn't good is the app that comes with this. The footage for whatever the video recording isn't that great. So I don't have another ability what I'd like, which is to lock onto an object, move my pole around, and have it track that. So, you know, there is no great answer. The other problem with if you're ever thinking about getting one of these, the fundamental flaw is the camera on the phone itself. It is on a series of 3 directions of tiny little springs, one for autofocus, one for moving up and down and left and right for image stabilization on pretty much any modern phone, including the iPhone series. And those little springs, they're great if you're not walking and you're just moving your camera around like that. They get you image stabilization. But if you jiggle it a little bit, it just adds shake instead of removing it. And that's a problem that this guy doesn't have. And so On the end of my painter's pole, I found that I had to be like perfect, no jiggle in order to avoid that. And that's why I'm going to probably just stick exclusively with this little guy for my shots that are coming up. But you were talking about, I remember you used to be a huge fan of this. You kind of got out of the honeymoon phase with it. For what I got to do with it now, I'm liking it. I would like that one more mode. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty good at what it does. I would love Wi-Fi connectivity. I'd love to be able to not have to use this connector to see what this thing sees on my phone. That's what I'd love to see them add.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay extra and have some goofy thing sitting on here hanging off the side just to connect it to my phone.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to do that. Kind of like I came with my GoPro, right? So why not, right? Maybe it is probably a limit of size, and they're making that thing as small as possible, which I don't think it needs to be as small as possible, right?
No, it's awkward to hold. Your hand cramps up trying to hold this thing. Like you were saying, I'll take a backpack product with a bigger camera, bigger battery, handle, Wi-Fi, spend an extra $100. I mean, I think they haven't upgraded the original Osmo in a meaningful way. Gosh, it must, 5 years or something.
Right.
And I think, I don't think their second generation was actually worse than their first. Get a 1-inch sensor Mavic 2 Pro style camera on one of these. It's actually fits in your hand, and that's something that we'd be definitely interested in.
I guess the Mavic Air 2 is a step in the right direction, but
right, which is the rumor, right? Mavic Air 2, and I'm not interested in that 48 megapixels. It's not as good as the 20 megapixels on the Pro, which we've tested that. But what it is good for is that HDR video is undeniably
awesome.
Quite good out of that sensor.
Yeah, it is pretty fantastic. Speaking of 1-inch sensors, there are some rumors of the Phantom coming back. All right, the Phantom 5, the V. I'm skeptical, right? I don't see it happening. I just feel like that form factor is dated. You're going to get props in the shots unless you're flying backwards or going really slow.
You got the pictures?
Yeah, we got pictures. We got the leaked image, right? Again, I feel like this one. No, that's we're looking at more Mavic Mini 2.
No, I forgot to show this one. This is pretty legit stuff here.
Yes, right. So we've got, we know they're filing, but it's come from OCETA. This is Osmo Pocket. The filing went up. So that is, it's happening eventually, maybe.
The do-it-all handle.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
Quite a name.
Yeah.
And then there it is. There's the V.
There it is.
So, Jack, you thought this was nonsense when you saw it. I think this looks pretty legit. I think it's happening. I want to believe. Maybe that's just me being wishful, but I believe it is, which is really cool. I mean, you and I spent a lot of time.
We just got a subscriber. How about that? Did you hear that little bell?
Who is it?
It was Alan. I missed it. It went so quickly. Alan something. But thanks, Alan.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You're talking. You think this is legit, huh? Do you think that this
remember
form
back
factor
in the day,
has a place?
Over a year ago. Was it 2 years ago? I mean, when did they come out with all those leaked images with the removable lenses?
Gosh, it was a while ago. It was, maybe a year. We'll have to look back. But I think that was a real project, right? They really did that. They made interchangeable lenses for Phantoms, and they decided it wasn't viable then. Why would it be viable now?
I'm not sure. There is a demand for this product. People love it. The original people, they love this thing. They think it's easier to fly than the Mavic series. I'm not so sure personally. I haven't had a Phantom that I fell in love with, except for maybe our first.
Yeah.
But the fundamental error you mentioned already, the fundamental issue that the the people who love this drone never talk about is just how much you see the dang props. That's one of my biggest pet peeves of any drone is if you can see those props, and you can see the phantom props all day long. So what would they have done to resolve that? They could drop the camera lower, maybe make the drone a little more asymmetric, move the camera forward a little more, use a longer lens, or maybe you forget it and not always completely fix it. But if it is interchangeable lens, sell it with a little more narrow lens. If people want a wide one, get the wide one and just be aware you get what you get.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Good stuff. Let's take a look at the chat here. We got some interesting things. People, inexpensive ultrasonics, an IR camera. Maybe they're talking about the back of the Mavic Mini. Looks like the same props as on the Mavic Mini. Probably. First drone was a Bugs 4. Love the Bugs series of drones. The first brushless drone we ever got outside of the Phantoms was the Bugs 3. I remember flying that thing for the first time, Chris, and was like, whoa, this thing is awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was back in the days when there was maybe the Phantom was still at the 3 back then.
Yeah.
And we hadn't flown one yet, I don't think.
Yep.
Or if we had, we were just scared of it. The Phantom 2 was the first one we flew, and that was a bit of a project drone.
Yes, but even the Phantom 3 at least had GPS. The Bugs 3 was the first. There was, there was no optical flow. There was no altitude hold. It was just power, and that was before we were into any of this FPV stuff. So it was far before any of that.
Yep.
So
the Bugs drones, they've had some ups, so they had some downs. They've never been terrible. And we flew, what the heck was it, the 20? Definitely a step in the right direction.
Yes.
One of the best camera drones in that price range, just because of just image stabilization in it was decent enough to be usable. A lot of the image stabilization drones out there, like the Bebop from Parrot, the Breeze, and what was it? Up there, Zero Tech, Dobby. The Dobby was, but those companies all kind of went belly up, or, the Dobby battery, we smoked it, and they have zero customer support. It's like,
yeah, we're still looking at your Phantom pics there, Chris.
Well, we should. It's a beautiful picture. So I hope it comes. I think they'll sell it with. It has to have lenses, removable lenses, I would think.
Right,
so
or what's
probably
the point?
A zoom lens, a few different focal lengths, have some different applications for it. It's probably going to have some kind of ridiculous range, speed, things like that.
So it's like a mini Inspire like a toned down Inspire, somewhere between the Mavic and the Mavic 2 Pro and the Inspire. So I don't know. Maybe. I know people love it. Maybe it's coming in December 2020. We'll see. I am skeptical, but who knows?
I think they're going to have to blow it out of the water with features, right? It can't have Mavic 2 Pro features. It has to be faster. It has to have better battery life. It has to
waterproof.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Slide in the rain.
Maybe it floats.
Now you're talking. It doesn't even need to float. It just needs to be able to fly in the rain or the snow. Someone said, get rid of the Wi-Fi in the Mavic Mini. I don't see that happening, right? That is a distinguishing price point, right? So, that's what you get for under $500. You get the Wi-Fi. There's that Dobby.
There she is. This thing was pretty cool. The battery charger was designed poorly, and it has a warning on it. It says don't put the battery in the wrong way, but you shouldn't design a charger that way. And me being me, I put it in the wrong way, and it killed the battery. But this thing had great image stabilization in it.
Yeah. Another reminds me,
one camera, one sonar.
Yeah. like the Tello. I mean, this is a DJI product. I want something between this and this, right? Which is like the Dobby almost.
Yeah, you know, MJX headed that way with the one-axis gimbal and stabilization. The stabilization should be better. The camera still should be better. But that's, yeah, there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah.
Give one axis and really good image stabilization,
Well,
kind of like
unique.
the Spark
that was the Breeze. The unique Breeze. Is that behind you on the wall?
Breeze we sold, actually.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, got a little bit of cash for that. But yeah, I mean the Breeze was a brick. I mean that thing was heavy, short flight time, but and it had a horrible range. It was like Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi drones had decent range.
Yeah.
You know, meaning like hundreds of feet or you know half a mile or something. It was before that.
It was a selfie drone. It had selfie drone range, basically.
Yes. Yeah, but decent camera. You know, definitely. You know, Dobby had a niche, and the company obviously just wasn't well run. I don't know.
No, it was not.
But anyway, the Phantom, yeah. I mean, lenses, range, speed. You know, bring it on. Is it something that we're gonna go out and buy? Is it gonna be for everybody? Probably not. It's probably gonna be great photography drone, right? Phantom's always been great for photography because photography you're not flying full speed ahead, so the props don't become an issue.
Right.
Which also make it a decent, you know, when you do mapping, you're generally not flying full speed, and if you are, you're looking down. You know, so it could be a great. You know, maybe they'll figure out how to get a micro 4/3 in there. You know,
cool.
Yeah, that would be.
That'll sell them, even if it is a Phantom.
Yeah, micro 4/3 will sell some drones.
Yeah, yes it will. So let's. What do we got left? Just talk about what do we got coming?
We
got a few cool drones en route. Some interesting stuff.
We're not always first and on top of everything, but we got 2 drones. Each has been around about a year. The Up Air 2.
Oh, that thing's more than a year old.
But I think it was announced more than that. But I went back. I was looking at YouTube videos. It was like September of 19 is when people posted stuff on it.
Yeah. That it looks like a Phantom, kind of.
Looks like a Phantom. It looks like a Phantom 3, right? It's got the gimbal hanging there on little rubber mounts, but it's got this goofy camera with three lenses on it, and the center camera I think is the workhorse, and then it can switch and you can record video with the outer 2 and do 3D video, right? And 3D video was a thing like 5 years ago. Hasn't been much of a thing since then. I got a TV that can show it, so if we can manage to record 3D with it.
Do we have an editor that can edit it?
I think we do.
do. Okay. We'll see.
I don't even know what that means exactly, like what the format is or whatever, but maybe we could figure it out, or even just to be able to watch the raw footage somehow. Hopefully there's some good information on it and we can use it and have a little bit of fun with it.
Is it like the virtual reality stuff where you're looking around? Is that the same format? I don't even know.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, some of that stuff is built for 3D. You know, I have video games that display in 3D, but you know, there's certainly some. Does Blu-ray have a 3D version? I think it does, right?
Is Blu-ray still a thing?
Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you buy a Blu-ray?
Yes, you can.
Where? The internet?
Yeah.
You can also probably still buy VHS tapes.
Yeah, just go down to your Blockbuster.
Or my dad's.
Yeah. So anyway, the Up Air weird 3-camera thing, we'll play with that. You know, it's always cool to get, you know, that second tier stuff, see what it's all about. That MJX, the 12 is coming, because 12 comes after 20 for some reason.
Yes, I love their numbering system. It's super...
Never made sense.
Super interesting. The first one was the 3, followed by the 2, followed by the 4 or the 5. There was
maybe
a
it's
6
like
and a
Elon
9.
Musk. Like there's something, if we wrote the numbers out in the order they came in, maybe it's like means something. It's like a cipher.
It
You know, like
must.
he released the S, then the 3, then the X, then
Yep.
the Y. So it spells sexy. He just dropped the price of the S. Do you hear that?
No.
The S is now 69,142.
No. So it's
Oh, 420. Sorry, 420.
almost,
69,
almost,
420.
almost in my price.
Well, no, the idea is it's 69 is the number, and then 420
Yeah.
as in
Yep.
smoking reefer.
Right. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Still not in
So-
my price range. Edric wants a $500 drone that can hold a GoPro Hero 8 Black. That's good. Please help him. So, like, are we talking like an FPV drone or what? Like,
So we know about
there's
yeah,
so
GoPro's
few.
attempt to get a gimbal up in the air. I was poking around Banggood last night. You can get a GoPro little gimbal to be mounted on a drone on like a 2-cell battery for $36
Oh,
aluminum.
that's not bad. What would you put it on though?
You'd strap it on the bottom of
What would you trust that's reliable enough?
I mean, if you're asking that question, I'm guessing, you know, maybe has he responded? Is he interested in FPV? I'm guessing he's
For
interested
cinematic shots. Cinematic shots like a Cinewhoop?
No, he means just like, you know, like DJI footage probably.
I would say don't. Yeah, I mean, like really.
Well, the stabilization's gotten so intense on those things that, you know, they're getting to that point, right, where you can put it in the air. He probably wants GPS. You know,
Karma? Can you still connect it to the Karma?
Karma drone?
Yeah, the GoPro drone.
Probably not.
I mean, for $500, I would say just buy a Mavic Mini, and don't put your GoPro on a drone. Right? Like, why?
Yeah.
You know, it's cheaper. Save your GoPro, right? You know.
Yeah, your GoPro is likely to get in the wash. Last time I put the GoPro on a non-FPV drone. Actually, you don't even put GoPros on. I mean, the cameras are getting so good now, right?
No, I don't. I will not put. So I have the Hero 8. I don't have a 9. But yeah, I never. Yeah, I wouldn't put it on. I don't like. Yeah, I'd fly with this if I had a purpose. But really, what I like to use is the Insta360 cam. Like I'll put that on my, my quad. So I'm gonna take the Nazgul out this weekend and. Look at that. My props are disappearing as part of the background.
Last drone I put it on. I put it on the bottom of this guy because the camera on this Spry waterproof drone is so limited. I wanted to see what I could get by putting the GoPro on the bottom.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, like Jack said, I think the Mini's the right answer. You're not going to find a drone that's worth putting it on probably in the price range that's under a Mini. If you want cinematic, go grab a Mini if you can afford it. I just found a memory card in here, Jack. It's like Christmas.
Sure. Yes. Maybe there's some good footage on there too. So we also have the Xiaomi Fimi A3. That's the small one, right? So nice. That's a good one too. So that'll be interesting. You know, that one's been out for a while. We haven't tested it. It's 2-axis gimbal. I think it has electronic image stabilization. It's less than $300. So, you know, that is a drone as the price comes down. You know, that'll compete with something like this, right? That's probably better than this. But, you know, time will tell. You know, it was built to compete with the Spark back when the Spark was a thing. So.
Don't mind if you hear some whining. It's Macy showed up at the party here.
Nice.
Yeah, the A3, you know, Xiaomi, we were not a fan of it at its more expensive price from Xiaomi. I'm guessing it's going to perform very similarly. You know, the camera might be a downgrade. At $250, it might be very compelling. So I'm actually am very interested to try it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, the Mini is not 4K. It's 2.7K. But really the question is what are you doing with 4K footage, right? Do you need it for some specific purpose? Because most people really will only use 1080 footage. YouTube, I don't think is a good example of that, right? Because it's so compressed that everything looks like garbage, right? Even 1080 does. But your TV, you got a big screen TV, that's not likely 4K, right?
Yeah, I saw this comparison. Some guy did this 4K production, and he tricked you. He said, "Oh, can you tell what's 1080 or 4K?" And like it was hard to tell, and you guess. And he was like, "Well, guess what? This one was 720." It's like there's motion in the scene, and you're not cropping it. I mean, really, the only purpose I can think of is if you get the shot lined up wrong, you want to move it around a little bit. If you want to put in that work to do a lot of editing or to turn on extra stabilization if it wasn't a fully stabilized to your liking, there's stuff you can do there. But yeah, for the average guy, I mean, my client asked for 4K. I gotta talk to her about what she's looking for, because if she's gonna post that on her company's website, it's just going to slow it down, right? You don't want that stuff up there. YouTube, there may be a benefit from the sense that YouTube may favor it because people have it's mostly a perception thing, and some people may actually be able to stream that to good effect. But yeah, I mean, 1080, that's where we do most of our stuff. It's just so much easier, so much faster, so much less memory.
Yep. Editing 4K is, gosh, it's a pain for sure. I hate it. Takes forever to render. 4K takes forever.
Yeah.
Some people like it. Hey, that's you have more patience than I if that's what you're into. So.
Or a faster computer.
That's true. All right, what do you got there? We skipped right over that. We talked about the gimbals. We were supposed to lead into your fancy stick.
We got this thing. I got to back up a little bit. So I've been using this tripod out fell on the other side of the table for years. And I love this style of tripod that doesn't have the center. If you guys do anything with tripods, avoid the $20 Amazon thing that still has the little bars here. This is the way to go. Nothing in the middle. Spreads out. You can spread these legs out even further. So what this thing is, this is the iFootage Gazelle tripod. Now they have an even nicer version of this thing that's carbon fiber that has even a higher weight capacity, even stiffer. They didn't send me that, unfortunately, but this thing is a beast. The tripod's a beast. You definitely see those step ups. Now you got to lug this thing around, of course, but the stiffness, if you're in a situation you really need that extra stability, or you got an extra big camera up there, it's pretty awesome. So this is the closest, this is my first professional tripod.
Where'd it come from,
And on top
Chris?
of it is this guy.
People want to know where it came from.
What's that?
What people want to know where that came from. Where did you get it?
So iFootage is the manufacturer. They sent it to us. We actually should. Maybe you could check on Google real quick, Jack, where you can buy this guy. We should know that. The Komodo K5 is what's on top here. This thing has won design awards. Check it out. It's super easy to do stuff smooth. It's got a spring in there. You can adjust the friction, the amount of damping it has. Moving left, right, also super smooth.
B&H Photo. Adorama.
Yeah. I mean, this thing's just really cool. So super big thanks to iFootage. We've still haven't put together some clips of this. You guys can check out what the footage looks like from it, some of the other features it has. But this is definitely a super sturdy professional rig. I went on vacation recently. I didn't even bring all I brought was my tiny little tripod because we were full to the brim in the car. But I don't use this as much as I might because of the extra bulk and because I don't do a lot of videoing from a tripod. But if you video from a tripod, the extra stiffness and bulk of this thing would definitely be a major advantage. Or an issue I've had with anything flimsier than this for photos. If it's windy out, that's going to be a problem. I've tried to do night shots and stuff with a tripod, and it was windy, and everything's a little blurrier than it should be.
Did you use that for my family pictures? I made Chris take our family pictures.
No, your family pictures were in broad daylight, and cameras these days are so fast.
And you didn't use a tripod, did you?
I just held it by hand. I mean, you get a perfectly good in nice daylight, a really fast shutter speed, so you don't see any motion blur. So I didn't need it. But we use tripods. They're good for lots of things. Obviously, we use them for stationary video shots, usually, or time lapse, or for photos in certain situations. But if you're looking for professional, if you haven't been happy, I've been very happy with this thing. I mean, it gets, the other thing is it gets super tall. So the one I bought that we've been using for years is it gets up, I'm 6'2", and it's like max height is where I still have to stoop over a little for it, and it's designed for people that are over 6 feet. This thing gets even higher. It's got two locking, two levels, like two nested telescoping.
Yeah.
I end up breaking something here. Sections here. Just the length of this thing alone. So anyway, it gets up there, and that's nice if you're taller too.
All right, so we got a few more questions. Someone wants to contact us about buying. We don't actually sell drones, but our email's up there on the screen. Although we do have some drones that we need to sell. The Phantom. Did you sell? We didn't sell the Phantom 4, did we?
Yeah, you want a Phantom 4 Advanced? We got one for you. If you have a
1-inch sensor.
What's that?
It's got the 1-inch sensor.
Yes, it does.
We also have a Evo, an Evo, original Evo, Autel Evo. That one we need to sell.
Yep, and then we can give you guys good prices for sure. Ask us if there's something you're looking for. Ask us if you want that spry on the ground. You want to do some waterproof fishing stuff.
Yeah,
maybe we can hook you up with a deal.
Most of the stuff you see on the wall though is dead, I think. At least, well, maybe not Chris's wall, but my wall. You can't see my wall right now because I'm green screening it. But yeah, most of the drones when I make videos that you see behind me are dead. But that's because they're mostly FPV drones, and I'm not really good. I crash quite a bit.
My wall's like half alive.
Yeah.
We also, part of the reason we keep these isn't just for the wall art. If it's like $100 drone, nobody's going to buy that secondhand for less than $50. And by the time we pay for shipping, it's just not worth our time. So that's why we end up keeping a lot of these things too.
Yeah. We see Ettrick is going to upgrade our website. His dad has been in graphic design for 26 years. So yeah, we probably use that.
Can he write for us too?
We do. We need a writer. We've been slacking on that. Work these days is this is not our full-time job. We go to actual jobs 9 to 5, so or 7 to 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that.
We're actually looking at maybe not so much the website, but some of our splash screen stuff on the videos, end screen for the videos. What else? We're looking at maybe refreshing the logo a little bit.
Yeah.
Because why not? We found a really cool guy. More on that later.
Yeah.
In this COVID world, I picked up a third child. I've got a stray living with me now, so it's a whole nother story.
Yeah, which we will tell here, and we're gonna give away some drones to try to raise some money and things like that. So, if you've been on our live stream, we've slightly referenced that before, but yeah, we're gonna be raising some money. We're gonna be giving away some drones to do that. So stay tuned. We've got some live streams on the way. Mavic Mini price wise, gosh, I would guess $450. but you know, who knows? Someone's saying $575 for the Fly More. Yeah, maybe. I would guess that's probably a little pricey. I'm guessing $550 for the Fly. Who knows? You know, when will it come out before Christmas, or why bother?
I mean, I just hope the problem is, right, is, you know, getting on that price topic is DJI still doesn't have the competition. And I think part of what they do is they see that and they're like, wait a minute, the Anafi's going out of business. I need a drone that costs $700. I need to get $700 out of people's pockets. So yeah, I'm gonna get a Fly More package at $600, and I'll throw some sensors on there so people think it's a different drone,
Yeah.
or give it 4K. When what we'd love to have is the $250, $300 drone that's just as good, just as capable in most every way. So we've seen that. We remember back when you could get a Phantom 3. What was it called? The cheapest
Standard?
one.
Standard.
Like $350. Now, granted, a Mini is a better drone. It's obviously smaller.
Yeah.
Except for maybe its ability to handle wind. Probably has a longer flight time. Has more range.
Yeah.
Doesn't see the props. Better video quality. 2.7K. Everything's better about it. But the point is, like, that's like their entry level toy grade drone now, and it's a lot cheaper to make than probably the 3 standard was.
Yeah.
So they just inch everything up, right? There was the 3 advanced and all that stuff was in the low 100s. It's like, where did it go? They just never found competition, and so they just replace it with slightly better featured and more expensive drones. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the original at least sticks around a while and they drop the price. I mean, but they don't really need to.
Right.
That's the sad thing.
Yep. How much for the Swell Pro? Gosh, shoot us an email, really, if you're interested in it. We'll negotiate it there. Yeah, we've got Mavic Minis on our. We've got plenty of videos on this. We've got plenty of articles on it. Do you want to, straight comparison or straight review? We've got comparisons to the Air, comparisons to. Gosh, we've got it all on halfchrome.com. So, there's a little search feature, type in Mavic Mini, boom, you'll see all the articles that reference it. So, plenty there for you.
Maybe the FIMI A3 will give it a run for its money, so stay tuned.
Yeah, you know what, I bet, as the price on that comes down, that may be a viable option. We shall see. I think that's it, huh?
Yeah, we got through a lot pretty quick. How long we been on?
It's a good question. Almost an hour. So I say we cap it here. How big is the Mavic Mini? 250 grams, man. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time. Adios.
See you guys.